Same as kind of me. I thought about this a lot with Norway too, and I kind of like felt bad almost for not like doing more stuff in Norway because like the community is good there, but it's obviously like it's not as big as the States, and I always was in the States, but I had a friend that really like kind of told me from his and their perspective, and it's like me being out in the States or the world doing stuff now. Norway feeds off that, because I'm out here making it possible and like paving way, but also like showing that it's possible, like you said, because when you went to the States, like people saw, it's like, oh, he went to the States, he got picked, from Gambia. It's like it's possible. That's the same as like having an African champion in the UFC. It's like everybody's like, it's possible. He's one of us. So that is like I always go back to Norway and obviously do stuff there for the city and community or whatever else. But it's only so much. But it was cool to hear, and we got to remember that as well. Yeah. We got to put ourselves first. We got to go out there and pave the way. Show it's possible. But so that will feed off. That will like we go here, this feed off here, and then goes, and then another one goes, but it goes bigger, another one goes. So it's like it's kind of a chain reaction. So never think that you have to be being here physical to build and inspire. So it's important to remember.
But like, what was the thing that made you wanna move out of like Norway and then?
It was very organic for me. I feel because I had started traveling very early on, and I didn't really think about it as a big change. It was kind of just like, oh, like I get the opportunity to go to the States and see what's up there, and then I kind of just followed my own instinct. I feel like so obviously the States is it's all these big people and like productions and stuff. So and we are so heavily influenced by it in Norway as well because we have all the shows, we have all the movies, all the games, everything. So you're automatically are fed with that, So you're thinking like you kind of have a relation to it, a far relation, but you have a relation to it. So it wasn't really anything that really like, oh, like I'll go to the States. Other than when I moved now a year ago. Then it was like, okay, I've built what I've built in the States. I know everything is there. I just need to spend more time there. And I obviously have my girlfriend too.
Yeah.
So I just figured that was the new chapter, And that wasn't, a big leap because I was already working so much in the States,
Yeah.
So I wish it was like this, like big, like, oh, like this made me decide. But it was like, I'm just looking around. It's like, oh, I guess I'm here,
Yeah.
So because you're driven by instinct and you're driven by progression, and you have all these dreams, and then when you follow them, you don't really pay attention, So it's been I'm very fortunate to like be able to trust myself and follow my instinct, and then suddenly you're just there, It's like I was talking to William about it too. Just like, have you digested? You're here and you're doing it. It's like no, like not really. It's like I know what I'm doing physically right now. But like I don't see the whole picture. So that was kind of the same moment. Suddenly you just look around. It's like, I guess I'm here now. Amazing. So you meet people, you treat people right. Everything is there. It's like Gareth's the 10th on the list. It's this and this and everything else. It's very. Everything is based on the same human aspects, It's, and then the creativity obviously is high on the list, but it's this, Yeah. You have so many people that is so good at taking photos, but they're not good with people. Or they're not good people themselves either, maybe. So then they maybe hit the wall of their progression.
Yeah.
But if you have like, the package, Just go.
My girlfriend says that I can take cool photos. She says my superpower is communicating with people. I disagree.
No.
Do you think your photos are better than your?
I think it's right down the middle.
No, it's literally what it is. I mean, it's
You have to have a dynamic
No, but
range of
like honestly, like just the truth is honestly like having you guys and with what you are, like, bro, like you guys are big, and being able to like just put all of that aside and just have like a honest conversation with us, even last time from the studio, we appreciate that honestly because there are people that they're at that level and when they see other people, they can do like what, we're not in the same level, you understand? But to have you guys just open up and then just be on the same level and everything with us, it's big, and that's why like I feel so comfortable like being around you guys and seeing what you do and then how you guys work together.
we're kind of honored to do it,
Yeah.
to be involved in the conversation.
yeah. No, I mean it's. I mean, for you guys to take us in too. We come into your country and you've taken us in as was your own. You know,
Yeah,
it's like that is huge for us too.
yeah,
So it's. I mean, this is these conversations too. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like everything is based on the same concept. We're on the same path and same journey.
Yeah,
Even though it's different, it's the same, man. And it's like, yeah, we've done like bigger jobs or working with bigger people, but it's like it's the same. We're just shooting photos just as
yeah,
you. So like it not in like put it in that way, but like we've been where you guys been.
yeah,
Like we've been there, and we're still there in the sense,
Yeah.
kind of. But we've been there.
definitely.
So it's like it's just literally like kind of almost just reminds us in a sense that like it's the same. Like we're all in this together, you know. Like it doesn't.
Let me ask. So have you ever been in like in a position like where you kept thinking in your mind like, what am I doing? Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing?
Of course.
And like, how do you get over that stage and just you know
I mean, that subject is pretty close to me because I think finding the balance has been the better question that I need to ask because I'm confronted with these fears of like, am I doing the right thing? Am I? But when you have a bit of success, you think you might think when you don't have it, you might think, man, I can't wait. This one last thing. If I'm successful, it's going to complete my life. But really, like, I remember traveling so much and coming back home and going into my door, it's like, why am I putting myself through this? It's like sometimes it's lonely, sometimes you're tired, you're underslept or underfed or whatever it is. And I think reconnecting with myself on like, what's my goal, what's my purpose, what's my direction, and how can I be healthy in that process? That's been a significant thing to overcome. But creatively speaking, I find my biggest power in sort of a mantra of four things. Working with people who need my help, not in terms of money, but like identifying somebody that could benefit from what it is that I do, my skill. And I lump that into my friends. Then it's doing my own projects, and then working, I guess, yeah, that's working with folks that I don't know. So of course I'm working with my friends that need me, but working with folks that I don't know that can benefit from me, and then just going around and doing my thing and having a direction of trying to be successful leads to jobs. But there's some fulfillment in here that makes me feel like I'm making a difference, not just being a hired gun out there for myself. I think it's important to be able to give, but you can't pay the bills just by giving. But when you do have some success, sometimes it can be you have to confront yourself continuously because you are growing. You know what I mean?
You have to kind of question things along the way always, and success sometimes is a distraction.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think reaffirming your goals, reaffirming your projects, and reaffirming what it is that's exciting you, because sometimes we have to use this machine to survive. And other times when we're not in survival mode, we have a choice of what we want to do, what we want to do with our time, what we want to do with our day, and that's what I mean about giving back. But also, man, this is the adventure machine. You can do anything. you can do anything. And if you work with those tenets from that mantra, man, the world gets so much bigger in terms of opportunity. It also gets smaller because your connection to people grows. But your intent is important. You know. But man,
I mean, for me, like sometimes, like I wanna like do my thing, do my own projects, but sometimes like you have the call and it's like, oh, I have a shoot I wanna do, and it's like you have to get the money anyways. So I mean, that's kind of like you know, yeah. But honestly, sometimes I just wanna like put everything aside and just feel happy like with what I'm doing.
absolutely.
Like
That's almost like chasing your first high. Um, I think being strong mentally, and developing that, and being strong physically, taking care of the body, and having some goals outside of what it is that we're known to do. And for you here in the Gambia, it's you're doing the weddings and you're doing some other portrait projects. But outside of that, we have to challenge ourselves. Because if that's the only thing, it's okay. But we have to survive. But outside of survival, we have to thrive. Right? So, man, make the calls. Put some money down for some projects, but you have to identify those things. And also, I am still working through I'm still growing. I'm in the same position as you. It's like, I have to call, I have to I have to pay thousands of dollars for a project, but man, it's worth it. But you gotta connect your heart to it.
recently, I've been going through some like really really dark times, and then sometimes like I pick up my phone and I want to post a photo. I look at it for too long. I'm like, nah, fuck it. I just put away my phone, and I don't wanna show my pictures because so I kind of feel like they're not good enough, and that's not why I got into photography and stuff. And I feel like I've lost that sort of along the way because it's been like a balance of making money and doing stuff that you really love, and that's like a very very it's actually yeah, it's very challenging and it's tough because nowadays I don't really enjoy my work like before. Before I shoot, and I love what I do because I'm doing it intentionally from passion and like from a point of view. But nowadays it's just I feel like you have lots of like shoots that you do because of money and you don't really enjoy it. And
Well,
yeah,
we have to work to survive.
yeah,
Maybe we can separate that mentally. But you probably had some goals when you first started, like shoot 5 weddings in a month,
yeah,
make $5,000.
yeah,
Right? But now hopefully your goals have changed. And if
Yeah.
you haven't, it's time to make some new ones. Like Olaf, for example, he's going big on YouTube. He's going with his efforts to put content together, but it's developing naturally. We're out here in Africa. He's going back to New York. He's got some more projects that he has lined up, and he's doing these more things to explore. It's not just about making money or just about finding the peace. So we're continuing to grow,
Yeah,
right?
because it's like sometimes it's putting yourself first is sometimes money, and putting yourself first is sometimes the opposite of money. And like what you have gone through and going through, it's like we do it all the time, like James kind of said. But I had a very strong period of that because I've like everything that I looked at that I have shot up until now. I was like, I fucking hate it. I was like, I hate it. I don't want to look at it. It's like, fuck this. Like, this is not going in my book. This is not going anywhere. It's like, like, everything, no. Scratch, start over. And for me, I had to, like, reboot my brain. Like, everything that, like, I kind of consumed and everything that I kind of, you got to curate yourself. Because I was, like, I went so deep here, and it was, like, maybe here, but it felt like here.
yeah.
It's like the perfect moment to reaffirm your new goals.
Yeah. So I was like, that for me, it was like, I changed all the music that I listened to, and I changed like not very specifically, but I changed some friends that people that was around me, and I changed like some cameras because like not essential, but I did to get some new
Yeah.
things in my hands to work on. and then I just did like the biggest cleanup that I could. And I'm very physical, so I like to work out. Like so, I worked out a lot. I had to run a lot. I swim a lot in the open water. Like that helped me, and just trying to reboot. Like like work on my body. Like went to body therapist, masseuse. Like just being like kind of flushed. Ready for new things.
Yeah, you have to be strong enough physically and mentally to tackle some hard projects.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I had to be like fight ready, like literally, be ready for the fight with this creative demon type of thing, or like our profession.
Yeah,
because
we all do battle with it.
Yeah.
Grapple with
100%,
it.
100%. That was my biggest one though, and I feel like sometimes you don't need this big cleanup, but sometimes you do, and you need to literally just it's like fucking drop this camera,
Yeah.
Yes.
like drop this phone, do this, and then it's like, okay, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Like what actually means something for me and what brings me joy, because like okay, like I'm maybe not in the best position like money or like whatever, but okay, I'll manage. I can eat noodles for a week, whatever, that's fine. But the most important thing right now is that I figure out where I want to go with this, because losing the joy in something that we know we enjoy and have enjoyed for a long time, it
becomes a burden.
burden, and it's depressive, and it's like why like I used to love this, and what did I do to my like thing, my precious thing that I love to do, and then I get for me, like I just work too much, and it was only work. And I mean, some people obviously say that like just get a normal job and then you have photography just as whatever you want to do. But we know like we can make, money moves us so I get in, like I never had a normal job. It's like ironically enough, but some that does have a normal job, they still do jobs for photography. So it's like it is a very balancing act, And now I feel like I have to just fight for exactly what I want to do. Like don't compromise too much, too much. I should say don't compromise, but I said not too much. I should say not at all, but don't compromise too much, and stick to that, because as long as you can fight for that and get hired for like this is how I do it. It's like if you don't want this,
Yeah.
you have to go somewhere.
somewhere
It's
else.
very hard because like you have to let that client go, whatever. But it's like, oh, that's perfect. You want to shoot this? Like I'll shoot it like this and that, and
Yeah.
I'll deliver this and this time, and this is the budget. And they will be like, no, we don't. That's not what we want. So well, then I can refer you to a guy,
Right.
maybe, or like maybe you have to do that in a certain amount of time, and then your portfolio builds up for exactly what you want, and then people only book you for stuff you like. Rick Rubin speaks about this a lot
That's
because
somebody good to listen to for sure.
yeah, Rick Rubin, Rick Rubin, is a music producer, one of the biggest ones.
A bit like he's a visionary in creating amazing music with amazing talent, but his perspective and his approach is wildly dynamic and different because it's about minimizing the things around you.
Yeah.
Like, and then what we're talking about here is important. It's about like refocusing by simplification of your process and your goal. Putting the phone down, putting the camera down. Who am I? What do I want?
What do you want?
It's a crazy question.
Yeah.
It's hard to answer, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was to ask you, like when I ask myself, who am I? And you ask yourself that question,
Yeah.
what do you come up with? It's like, it's not just your name.
Yeah.
It's not just what you do. It's other
Yeah,
things.
it's a
And that's
bigger
a
picture,
question of
yeah.
identity. Like, what's your identity? However, that's when it gets heavy. It's the refocus for simple. That's when we can take a deep breath.
Yeah.
That's when we can, reconnect with the things that start to matter.
Yeah.
And that's where we can find some inspiration,
Because recently, the X100V, the Fujifilm, because in Gambia it's like difficult like to just go around with this camera and then shoot people. People like, don't take pictures of me, blah 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 blah. So I was kind of feeling maybe having like a camera like X100V or stuff like it could be easier for me just to dive in and then just do more like street photography, travel around, not caught any like
Yeah.
picture here. But I don't know. I've been looking at the price and I'm like, is it also worth like spending so much money on something like hobby yourself? I don't know. I'm just. What do you think?
That you want to take a trip without
Without
shooting
the
photos?
camera and no, without this camera and get the Fujifilm X100V, like a small camera.
The 100.
It's not about
X100,
Yeah,
100V.
it's not about the
It's not about a camera.
No, it's never.
It's like-
it should never be. Right?
I mean, I probably if I use this, I'm gonna cut the clip to my like old camera room.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like it's
About
terrible.
the camera.
I started to make more money and I started to like kind of like rebrand stuff and it's like analog cameras, all these analog stuff.
Yeah, you went haywire in that direction.
Terrible, man. And now it's a burden. And I sold a lot, but it's like I have a lot of cameras still that I do use. But whatever I don't use regularly, I sell it. I take it away. But just coming back to that, like it's one of those things that's like, oh, when I have that,
Yeah,
when I have that.
Yeah.
No,
You have
it doesn't
and
work
it's
that
never-
way. And like even I trick myself into this, even though like I mean everyone does it in a sense.
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
put
oh,
pressure on ourselves. We
Yeah.
put pressure on ourselves, and man, it's time to simplify and refocus. It is. You can still do the jobs like the wedding jobs or the portraits that maybe you're not crazy about, but maybe try some new stuff.
I would almost buy something like a point and shoot, like not a Fuji, but like have you shot the film, analog film?
I mean, I have a film camera, but then the problem is I can't develop it here.
You can't. There's
There's
no
no-
way of developing here.
There's nobody that develops.
Oh, really?
it here, yeah.
Oh wow.
Unless I want to do it myself.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Because this brought me kind of back to it too, and even disposable cameras.
yeah.
Disposable cameras too brought me back to like the moment of things where I can just like, all right, I'm just gonna take a photo right now, one photo, to document this the best possible way for me to remember this moment.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
brought me a lot of.
Well, when you
lot
have
of-
like an unlimited capacity with something like this and 10,000 photos, the value,
Yeah.
the value of the tool and the value of the moment sometimes gets
Sometimes,
compromised.
yeah,
It gets
no,
compromised.
yeah.
2,000 photos. How about 36?
How about that?
But yeah, I think it's putting new tools in your hand can sometimes be something, but also
Yeah.
slowing it down and simplifying. Want to go on a trip? Take your 35. That's it.
Yeah.
Take your 35 and just go explore. Talk to people. See if people want their photo taken. We love light. We love shadows,
Yeah.
and like sometimes exploring with that, or just shooting your friends. Shoot all your friends.
Yeah.
And have
That-
have a little get together.
So I got one thing, because I was working with photography for a very long time now, 12 years or something, 13. And when my dad passed, I almost had no photos of him. And I'd taken millions of photos of everything else. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Right?
What the fuck am I doing here?
Exactly. Same.
It's like all work, huh?
Same. Yeah.
Like
what it is.
it doesn't matter whatever I say, like that thing of that perception and that fact right there that I didn't have photos, like barely photos of it. I had some, but barely any photos of it. I can't deny that it's like I just been working with this. Because if I really enjoyed it, like it's like everything is right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like I used to do that. That's how I came up. I shot all my friends, all the time. That's how I started. That was the enjoyment of it. I still shoot friends now, obviously, but it's a work setting, So it's a combination. Like how many times do I like hit up a friend that I do no work with
Yeah.
just to take photos of them? Never.
That's what I'm saying.
Ever.
That's why those tenets that I was talking about are pretty crucial for me.
Find somebody who needs you, or when somebody reaches out that they need you, don't have a budget, they're working on something that's important to them, boom. Love to do that. No, I got you. Friends got something that they're working on. Or friends are doing something cool, like, yo, I'm coming out on Sunday. I'm gonna photograph what you're up to. Or you're just hanging with all your friends and bring the camera out. Put a flash on it, direct flash. bro, it's the most classic look you can do. And from that,
And
big jobs will come.
those photos might mean more than anything that you should. So that for me, like coming back to shooting weddings, for example, that was kind of a like thing for me because I really do enjoy doing it because I feel like I'm contributing to something bigger. Those photos will be with them forever, and they will show to the kids and the grandkids. So I was like, oh, like I really like that aspect of it. Like, and obviously I can do something that I'm good at, like shooting events, which is things moving and like timeless, things going on. It's defining those like things and like why are you shooting. And for me that was kind of a good reminder of like I'm really good at documenting, same as James, super well of like documenting. I think, I mean, again, you're gonna probably deny this, but like you are better than that too, because like you have an eye that is more aware than me. I'm still slightly programmed, which is
Your muscles in that are starting
Yeah,
to grow.
I'm still-
I've seen that changing in your work though. We have these moments that we see and we're like, oh, I want to capture this. Or somebody has a pose, right? But for me, I like to explore the space in between those moments. Like that photo yesterday where he's off angle a little bit, he's all even out of frame, right? But I'm obsessed with those types of things where it's between those moments that the subject expects and it's between the moments that I would expect. And it's like falling in love with the little things, or finding the joy and the you're exploring an uncharted little space. That's why I'm always on the trigger.
Yeah.
But man,
It's all those small things that does matter at the end of the day. Like literally just what we talk about now, that was a reminder for us, like, okay, that's how we see the world. Like that's how we want to document the world. So like to bring in that, for example, and do fashion editorials, that it's like, but you have to set it up like that, And that's like sometimes when I do campaigns where it's like just like this, like lighting and just like this, it's like that. Like I enjoy that. It's cool, like production and people, and like you can create something big. But it's like that's not how I see the world. It's like even a lot of the campaigns I do, I don't even look at the photos, bro. Like I don't even look at them. Like I literally don't look at them. Like they do the selection.
Yeah.
They send it to the retoucher, and like I just forward the link. It's like, because
Thanks, guys.
cool,
Yeah.
nice. And that's not how it should be. That like sometimes like fair, like it's a job, We go to work. There's nothing wrong with going to work.
Yeah.
But it's like I like at least for every stuff that I do like that, like work I do like that, I should at least do one other thing that is more the flow that we maybe want to. Like it's like in between moments, and it's maybe shot on film, and it's like some grudgy, like unperfect, like imperfections, and all,
Yeah.
So like, just remind yourself how you viewed the world, and view it through this as much as you can every time. This is like we talking about this now. Like we say things that we maybe even haven't thought about now. So.
Well, this type of thing benefits all of us. It's not just like us giving you advice. It's really us sharing our experience, and at the same time reflecting on that and like, what does that mean? The mistakes we've made, the triumphs that we've had and we didn't expect them. There's magic in that place. It's just when our brain is so full, we're worried about how people perceive us. We're worried about maybe we're doing something too much work and not enough fun and not enough play. That's why it goes back to taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other. Man, we have to be strong enough. We have to be strong enough to be able to take care of our people, even without this thing. And then once we're strong enough for that, we can be strong enough to take care of what we do when we have this thing. It's not just, having a great eye or having a great book. It's like, man, it's the continuous journey that we are on.
It's the same as if you lack creativity. I get a lot of DMs. It's like, oh, like I'm in, like where to find creativity? Give me some advice, type of thing. It's like just go out. Like leave it, or bring like a disposable or whatever. Like bring it down, Just go out and live. You will see things, and
That might re-inspire you, but it's not going to be the reason for your re-inspiration. The reason is looking at something in a new way, and we can look at something in a new way without our tool. But it's lovely to have something to get us excited. But it's like when we say, "Oh, I'm going to go to the gym," and the first 2 weeks we're like in the gym, and then the third week we're like, I think I'm just going to stay horizontal all day. No, man, we have to stay with it. That's what I'm saying. We can find a new way to simplify our stuff, you know? And it's not bad to ask ourselves, who am I? What are my new goals? Because, man, the me from 5 years ago would be like, okay, you achieved all the stuff, you achieved nearly a lot of the things that you were going for, and you still have some unhappiness. And it's, you know, we have to take care of ourselves. But man, just simplify it. Who am I? What do I want? Be strong, but also be ourselves and explore. Explore, dude. Explore. Please, play. Play. We have to play. We have to play. It's not just like business. Like, okay, cool. Or if you want to build a business, build it. But man, flex your other muscles. Develop those other muscles.
to like reference like Rick Rubin again. It's like he talks about a lot of stuff, but like two things is basically like the audience comes second. So you're creating for yourself,
For yourself.
which is really hard.
Yeah.
You know, because we're programmed to like care about other people or clients or all these other things.
Art director's opinions.
Always. If you get to that scale, you know, it's like that's a good problem to have, almost. But another thing is also like he never wanted to box himself in. So basically, he produces a Metallica album, and then he gets a lot of work. So it's like, oh, like you know, people want him to do another rock album.
Yeah.
He's like, no. And then he goes to do a Madonna album or Beyonce album. Beast, and then that was, you know, it's like goes like reinvent himself to be on the toe, and like I'm not this, I am everything, but I'm not this, and I'm not that.
That's how you start to answer the question of who am I. Like I said, it's not. I'm not James Law. I'm not just James Law. I'm not just a photographer. I'm not just somebody's brother. I'm not just somebody's son. You have to go inward, and it's like sometimes the answer is not in words. The answer is your magnetism to something. You know, like to be kind, to go outside of your comfort zone and explore, to really like try something new. The last time you tried something new, you know, and it's not a challenge, and it's not also not talking down, because the last time I tried something new was coming out here to do this project with Olav, with our friends. But I didn't know them, but I needed an adventure that was outside of myself, you know, and how can I contribute? And like, you know, when you're so stressed, like you're thinking about money, you're thinking about family, thinking about your girlfriend, that's when your brain's too full. So putting some of it aside and just going for a walk, meditating, listening to your music, and letting this idea of what do I want and who am I to sort of persist, but finding inspiration in those who have traveled that path. And when you see something that inspires you, it's not just the words, man. They're saying, "Come with me," and they're saying, "Come with me," in the sense that like, follow from this way, and it's gonna hurt. It's not gonna be easy, but it's better than doing it from what other people expect of you. Like, oh, you made this cool photo, or you're known to shoot this way. Then you're living up to somebody else's expectations instead of the expectations that you have on yourself.
Yeah.
Man, that's when your heart starts to feel. And maybe you're feeling like, oh, maybe I haven't done it that much. There's no room for guilt here. The only room that we have is the path that's this way, and that's positive. You know, that's optimistic. It feels good.
Yeah, because recently I've been having like different like feelings and everything, because I have my bike with me, the bicycle, and I've been riding it like all along these days, and I've been feeling like I want to go out and camp, just with a tent and just be outside and just, you know.
I think that's not a bad way to refocus.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that, you can also maybe remind yourself on other things that makes you feel the same way as that.
Exactly.
Because if you find back to that feeling,
Yeah.
it could be anything. Like just that feeling, you can tap into that, and then it's like fuck, like I don't have this feeling when I'm shooting what I
Shooting,
just
yeah.
did. So that's probably not what I should shoot then.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you obviously have to stick to that feeling. But like that is a good reminder.
Some things will get in the way. Like, should I? Why am I even here? Like, there's the other guys. They know how to shoot this better than me. It ain't about them. You know, of course we're humans, and of course we're competitive, and of course we want success and we want attention of our work or how we move. But that's secondary stuff. The primary thing is, the primary thing is finding what helps us be strong again. And sometimes it's the machine, but sometimes it's the belief that people have in you from what you can do. But it has to be something other than this and what people believe. And that's something you have to cultivate. And I think if there's a scale, like a little gas meter, of how much you got in the tank, I think I just have just about this much. But man, fucking that's enough. That's enough to get me to go to where I need to be, to get my mind in the right place, and to get my equipment in the right place, and to dream a little bit. What's something that you've been worried of or thinking about lately?
No, yeah.
Come on,
So honestly, so I've been in this like circle where sometimes like I go on Instagram and I see a work of someone, and I keep asking myself like, oh, I think I should shoot it this way. And I scroll to the next one and I saw someone else's work. I'm like, okay, maybe I should shoot it this way. So I'm more focused on like how other people shoot and try to think, oh, I'm supposed to shoot it this way, instead of just focusing on myself and my potential and shoot the way I want to shoot. So it's like yeah.
I think part of that frame of mind and that way of thinking has to do with being in this place in the Gambia, because the world is so big and more people are shooting more stuff in different ways, and you can't help but feel like, oh, this way they're shooting this way and they're doing this. Oh, I should maybe try this, or maybe I should try this. That's understandable, but man, knowing that you're here and knowing that's not really a consequence. I think there's guilt. There's guilt there. Like you're seeing other people's cool stuff. You're seeing it all the time. Remember when I said just a moment ago, there's no place for guilt here in thinking and knowing that you've been overburdened or that you've been wanting to grow but haven't been able to. No more guilt. Just like, if you see a cool photo, think about, oh, I wonder how they did that. I wonder how they did that with that light. That seems interesting. Maybe I'll try that. Or you think of how you might have shot it. But you can do a lot of beautiful stuff with just one light or no light or one continuous light, or one flash right here on the top. Everybody does that, and that's kind of that can be fun. Flash portraits are real cool. But yeah, the guilt part, we all experience it. And the competitive aspect, we all experience that. But when our brain is full and our hearts are hurting a little bit and we feel stuck, that's when we're consuming too much social media and it's starting to affect us in like a negative way. And man,
You have to curate.
Yeah.
Yes. And like it's the same as like sometimes I feel like sometimes people look at my Instagram and they can get depressed.
Yeah.
Sometimes like people like kind of say that like to me sometimes too, in the sense of like, oh, like you're not better at us type of thing, or they downgrade themselves and they say kind of like, oh, you've done all this stuff, like you're so much, I was like, oh, I haven't done anything. It's like, it's photographers too. It's like, oh, like, it's like, yeah, no, like you, like, this guy does amazing stuff. Like, but you do, it's like, no, not but.
Yeah.
I just said something about you. Just take it.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. Like, I downgrade myself too. It's just like, because I don't want to take space. And I feel like every time, like, oh, it's like, yeah, he done this and work with this. I was like, yeah, no, I've done that. But, this guy, nothing bad about doing that. But I'm just saying, you can't control how other people are having a perspective about you or your work or what you're doing. It's not you're not in a position to control that. That's not up to you. So you put out something to inspire or just show, but people can take it in a negative way or a positive way. And that's the same as being on the other end. Same with me too. I like my discovery page on Instagram. It's filled with like really stuff that I do like, like crazy photographers, like art, all these things. And I scroll and it's like, oh, look, all these people are just doing stuff that I kind of want to do more of, but like all these people are doing it. So I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
but like you are in the position to change your perspective, but you're not in the position to change anyone else's perspective. It's not your job, but it's your job to control your perspective of what everything, not even Instagram, everything is your job. Nobody can take that responsibility. So again, having that, it's very normal, like everyone experiences. And my biggest problem, I kind of had a breakdown on it too, because I want to be Usain Bolt, but I also want to be Pablo Picasso, And like, I am like jack of all trades sometimes, and I'm not like master of none. I feel like, even though photography is very dominant, I feel like I'm doing so much, I'm not focused on one thing, but I'm still putting myself up against the best in this, best in this, and best in this, and best in this. But I want to do all this. It doesn't work like that. So I need to come to a compromise of that. Like, okay, if I scroll discovery page and I want to do that, well, then I need to narrow that. We'll try to do that. Okay, and then we'll work ourselves through, and do everything at once. It just doesn't work.
And that's why we remove that feeling of guilt that we have when we see these things that we're inspired by. It's like, oh wow. Okay. Man, we like the adventure. Okay?
Yeah.
I do. I know Olaf does. Sometimes it's not about adventure. Sometimes it's just one style of portrait, and that's the beginning, or that's the full thing for some people. But man, removing that guilt from the things that we see and allowing it to be fuel instead of us to be critical, we remove a huge burden from ourselves. Like I said, I'm just at this process where I have one little quarter tank left, and that's coming from being on an empty tank. But by not being too critical about how I'm feeling in relation to other people's work and removing the guilt allows us a little bit of a space to make a little bit of a plan or a big plan, to have a new focus and to have a new goal. And for me, it's to explore and to adventure. Like I work with some people in New York, I work with some people in LA, and I work with some people in Europe, if it's sports or if it's art or if it's music, and they believe in me. And that also is a little kickstart. There's always going to be some person, I think, that will have some belief in you, but we have to reaffirm our beliefs in ourselves so much more. And that is more of a job than anything else. But man, explore, adventure, reframe and focus those goals, and to remove this guilt feeling, right? That way you have created some space for some creativity.
So there's this important question that I have here, and I'm asking myself, okay, there's certain stories that are in Africa here, you understand? And there are certain stuff that you can shoot in Africa, maybe you can't shoot in America or in Europe. So do you kind of have this feeling that, okay, I like shooting this, right? So am I gonna have the same scenery when I move somewhere else that I want to move? Am I gonna shoot the same stuff, like compared to when I'm here in Africa? Like example, in Africa, you can go out and see someone like carrying food on their head. Like, am I gonna be able to shoot that stuff when I'm in New York or stuff like that? Like, do you have that I think
be dynamic.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be dynamic. Having some diversity in your skill also means you have some diversity in your taste, and your taste can transition into anything, just not regardless of your subject, but definitely regardless of your location. If I'm not sure exactly all the things that you shoot, but if you love to fucking shoot bananas and oranges on people's heads, that's cool. If you want to shoot it close and wide, that's cool too. But
there's not going to be a constant of these things, but I think it's the playfulness and the exploration of new environments and new people and new characters. I think we have to be in tune on that level. You know, like I'm obsessed with just how shadows on buildings make different angles. You know, and how reflections from a window on a building here and a shadow and a poster that's red and somebody's walking by with a red jacket and a dog with a red collar, like a little bit contrived, but you understand that these things only happen because you're there and you appreciate these little dynamic things and you're waiting to see if something happens. You know, that's a little bit of a chase and a pursuit, but that's just exploring your space with tools that we need for what we do: light, shadows, color, people, characters.
And you will see that everywhere.
Yeah,
You know,
everywhere.
it's like, no, you won't see people that have food on their heads.
Yeah,
You know, maybe New York. Maybe you will see anywhere, like anything in New York.
What that means, if you boil that down, is that, like, for me, I'm obsessed with characters, like people as characters, and groups of people that are characters. I love the diversity and the wildness in that. I'm always looking for somebody with crazy curly hair or a crazy fucking big nose. Like it's just anything that's just a little bit out of the ordinary. And then sometimes the ordinary is cool too. It's
See the beauty in everything. You know? So like wherever you go, you will find something.
find
You just
something.
have to.
the beauty or the interest,
Yeah.
or the juxtaposition of something.
But definitely be dynamic, because like if you were just going around New York and trying to find somebody with their food on there,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Then you will just, you know, it's like, oh, there's nothing here for me. But if you're dynamic, it's like, oh, like this is
Yeah.
kind of the same feeling in a sense,
feeling,
but
yeah.
it's way different. It's new and it looks like maybe even cooler.
Yeah.
Then you like have a whole different perspective on things.
Do you get the feeling that you need to grow? All right. Well, so do I, and so does that guy. And like,
No, I mean,
yeah, not all off perfect. But
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes being confronted with that though is shocking. It's like, what would happen if I went somewhere else? Man, that's you asking yourself to grow, and your response is like, oh, yeah, that's how it feels. But man, we're just I'm asking you to take that step. I'm asking me to take that step. Asking Olaf to take that step, and you know you can do it. You know you can do it. It takes some discipline and consistency, and building the body to be strong, and building the brain to be strong. Man, if there's anything I know, it's that you can do it. It's just to challenge yourself is the hard part, because you have such heavy burden.
Yeah.
It's heavy, it's heavy, it's heavy. Make some space. Make some space by removing some of the guilt, making space by knowing that you can be playful, and by going anywhere you can do it. Man, drive up to the car and go shoot the people there. See if it's see what it's like. You know, see how that feels. Go camp along the way. It's 5 hours. Take a car, get the tent, go next week. Why not? People can say, "Why are you going to Dakar, Mohammed?" I'm gonna go play. Yeah, dog. Woo!
Like that. Like that.
Give me a woo.
yeah, I haven't heard you woo in a long time now.
So I have this question for both of you,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Because I know right now we're in a generation where like people are like so sucked into like social media and everything.
Sure.
So do you have this feeling that where like when you post a picture or you put something out there, the number of people that react to the photo is either by likes or comments really determine how good that post is? Do you have that? Do you have that like?
I do. That has always been a thing. Number of likes and all that stuff. I turn those off. I turn the number count off because as important as it is, it's also unimportant, because my aim lately is to be consistent and to be disciplined. And man, I like those virtues more than 200 extra likes. You know, because what if I'm shadow banned or I didn't post at the right time or the algorithm? Fuck all that. You know, social media is important, but it's not the only tip of the only spear.
I mean, you can make it into something important. In the base of it, it's not important. but you can make it into something important, or you can make it into something that doesn't mean shit.
Shit.
You know, there's no particular way you have to go. You don't have to be good at social media. You don't have to post on social media.
Yeah.
It's like
And it
you
also
don't.
doesn't have to be like how everybody else does this certain one thing. It's just like developing your taste and developing your style. Like I like to talk about style and taste kind of like similarly. And some people really are obsessed with like gear and technology and like certain like lenses and the differences, or like the paper that you put it on. That's all cool, but really, man, it's not about. It's about taste over technology, taste over technicality, and that frees up some of that burden we were talking about. You know, because in the end, like, why did you pick up the camera? To document some stuff and take photos of people that you care about, and to explore and to show your exploration. And maybe it's because you loved fashion, or maybe it's because you saw those ads and you wanted to know how they do it, and you're getting closer to know how to do it. But because you have these other things in your life, your brain's full. That's what I mean. That's why we're asking all of ourselves to simplify and reduce and refocus on what our new goals are. I have a book with me that I left in the hotel, but I'm always writing down what I have to do during the day, and I'm always also writing down what my goals are. You know, do some push-ups, call my mom, check in and water the plants, and you know, make my posts, and go out with my camera on my motorcycle and go check out stuff. You know, always. I love the contrast and sort of like when something interesting to me thing happens to me that I see, like in Los Angeles. They made a dirt track, and they make these special motorcycles that they slide. I've been going out to flat track racing, and at first I just liked the dirt flying up from the tire, and I was shooting that really close. And then I started to see there was like an 80-year-old guy who was one of the fastest flat track racers in Orange County. And so I got his information, and I went and photographed him at his house, you know. And then I learned about his other friend that did it, and then his brother does it. And so now I've got photos of them all doing it together. That's what I like. Or I went to Arizona, and I was shooting cowboys, and I heard about these Spanish, you know, these Mexican-American guys that have been riding these horses in a traditional sort of caballero tejano sort of way. And then I became obsessed with that. But I'm just finding some richness in these characters.
Crazy,
like those?
I mean, that it's like it goes back to what we've been talking about for the last hour, and it's like that. Those are so good because you did what you wanted to do, and that's so. It's like if you don't do exactly what you want to do, you're never gonna like reach your full potential. James going and shooting this thing is like. Those like has like it's it's just different. You can tell that you went and did something you like to do.
Totally.
That's why they're so good, because they have so. It's like you don't know what that little thing is, but that little thing can be enjoyment and fulfillment from the photographer.
And it shows.
It just shows.
And it shows.
That's the same concept of like you literally go in the same place, same camera, and same moment, but it looks completely different from two different photographers, because maybe one really likes to shoot that and while the other doesn't like to shoot that, or they just have different life experiences, so they see things differently, you know. So it's a very interesting conversation when it comes to like those type of things, because like again, like these big moments, like the real iconic moments you always see everywhere. Portraits are like, you know, these photos that kind of live forever. It's like, yeah, they probably were taken by somebody that was doing something they really enjoyed doing, you know, most likely.
Absolutely.
And like I have like, you know, again, the Chimo Do photos, and you know, of Tupac, and I even see them here in Gambia and stuff. And like, to be honest, I never asked him really like if that was like what he really wanted to do, but the overall impression, like he really did that because he was a part of like a bigger thing, you know. It wasn't just him going to work.
Bingo.
He like
Bingo.
he was, and like those photos wouldn't probably be like as timeless and be as good as there was if it wasn't for like he hit that.
It sounds so complicated, but it's also so simple.
Yeah.
That's why we're saying we remove some of the guilt, we remove some of the social pressure.
Yeah.
We find ourselves in a place where we have more space to think about, like, where am I? Where am I? My girlfriend refers to when I do this stuff as doing some cowboy shit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, it doesn't revolve around cowboys. It's like, it's just getting out there and going and see. Go play.
I'll jump on my horse and just see where it takes me.
right.
We'll fuck around, you know. If we see somebody to fucking rob, we'll rob it. You know?
We love adventure. We love the adventure of these things. There's adventure. Anybody's variety of adventure can be found with the expression of your tool. But the expression comes from you. That's what I'm talking about in developing the taste. Your taste and your style. And that's always going to be growing. Be inspired. Asking ourselves to be inspired when our brain is full is impossible. Because there's always going to be guilt attached to it. Let's see if we can make that space, you know? We gotta make that space. I need to make that space. Like I'm pep talking to myself.
Yeah, no, we truly are.
Yeah.
We definitely talking to you, but you were like, you know, you are making us tap into things that we haven't thought about, and you're saying stuff too that reminds me of, you know, the same problems we're in.
Yeah.
You know, we're equal. Like we love you, Bitz. You know, like that's why we, you know, obviously this is we're not making this into a monologue.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
And make space in your brain and make space in your heart. And I'll do the same. Because it's so cool to use this and to use this and to use this to go on this adventure. And man, play with that. I love it.
Yeah.
New goals. I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen and put it in a place that's important. And 3 goals. 3 goals relating to photography and 3 goals relating to you and your heart. And bro, update me. Hit me.
Sure.
Muhammad.
Yeah. Love this. Love this.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
It's good.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Come on.
My God.
Come on, man.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Feel the love, you know?
Yeah.